All right, let's dive into this explainer and discover how mastering just a handful of ancient roots can literally serve as a cheat code for your entire vocabulary. Welcome. I am so thrilled to take you on this journey today. You see, language isn't just about memorizing endless, boring lists of words, right? It's really about understanding the hidden architecture beneath them. And trust me, once you see the blueprints, the whole game changes.
Today, we're decoding Norman Lewis's legendary vocabulary builder, Word Power Made Easy, and we are focusing entirely on the absolute transformative power of Session 10. This isn't just a textbook, it's arguably the single most effective vocabulary builder in the English language. And Session 10 in particular, well, it's a total masterclass in breaking down complex language into bite-sized, incredibly useful little pieces.
But hey, before we get to the roots themselves, I have to share the core philosophy here. Lewis actually demands active participation. So as we go through this explainer, I want you to literally say the words out loud and guess the meanings with me. As Lewis himself warns, don't just read it, work with it, talk back. If you want the stuff to stick, you've got to use your voice. So if you're on the bus right now, maybe just whisper, but definitely play along. Real learning only happens when you're actively involved. Okay, here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll hit master keys, the roots of writing, the roots of aging, test your etymology, and finally, change your intellectual climate. Let's get into it.
Starting with Section 1, Master Keys, Unlocking Vocabulary.
So the crucial takeaway here is that by learning just one of these ancient roots, you immediately gain the superpower to decode words you've never even laid eyes on before. Think of Greek and Latin roots as literal master keys. Instead of memorizing 50 completely isolated words, you learn one single master key that effortlessly unlocks the whole bunch. You aren't just memorizing definitions anymore, you're actually learning the underlying formula of English. It's the ultimate shortcut.
Moving right along to Section 2, the roots of writing, decoding scribes.
Our very first key is grapho. It's an ancient Greek root that forms the absolute backbone of countless modern words. Whenever you see a word with graph in it, like phonograph, telegraph, biography, or typography, you instantly know it has something to do with writing, recording, or drawing. It's this foundational building block that just pops up everywhere once you actually start looking for it.
And that brings us perfectly to our next key, kalos, which means beauty. Now, I want you to hold on to both of those keys in your mind for a second. Grapho for writing, and kalos for beauty. We're going to snap them together for a quick interactive challenge.
Go ahead and say it out loud right now. If you put beauty and writing together, what common English word are you creating? Remember the rule, you've got to talk back to this explainer. Beauty plus writing. I'll give you a second. Got it?
Exactly. Calligraphy. See? You just acted as an amateur etymologist by snapping two ancient building blocks together. Kalos, meaning beauty, plus grapho, meaning to write, equals beautiful writing. You didn't need to look it up in a dictionary. You simply decoded it on the fly. That is the magic of this method in action.
Now here's the surprisingly hilarious side of etymology. The ancient Greeks actually used kalos to coin the word callipygian. And what does that mean? Well, the Greek root pg means buttocks, so it literally means someone with a shapely rear end. It's a completely fantastic, slightly cheeky word that just shows how colorful, expressive, and wonderfully human these ancient roots really are. Etymology isn't just stuffy rules, it's totally vibrant.
On to Section 3, the roots of aging, time and language.
So, there are three foundational roots for aging that build the medical and political terms we hear every single day. Geron is Greek for old man, which gives us words like gerontology, the study of aging. Geras is old age, and senex is the Latin root meaning simply old. Once you internalize these three roots, a massive category of vocabulary suddenly makes total sense.
For instance, look at how the single Latin root senex just cascades into multiple words. You've got senile, referring to mental deterioration, sometimes linked to old age, and senescent, which just means the condition of growing old. But check this out, it also gives us senate. Etymologically, it literally just means a council of older, wiser citizens. Realizing that the root of our highest legislative body just means old is pretty wild, right? It shows how these roots are just hiding in plain sight in our everyday civic life.
Which brings us to Section 4. Test your etymology, put it together.
Okay, here is your final master key for today's session, octo, which simply means 8. You probably already know this one intuitively from words like octopus or octagon. But let's see what happens when we combine it with what we learned just a second ago.
Okay, combine octo with the root for old man we just went over,
and say the answer out loud. What exactly is an octogenarian?
Nailed it! An octogenarian is someone in their 80s. This proves that you absolutely no longer need to memorize definitions when you can just decode the formula. If you saw this word in an article tomorrow, you wouldn't skip over it or guess the context. You just break it down. Octo is 8, geron is old, boom. You have the answer permanently locked right into your brain.
And finally, Section 5, change your intellectual climate.
Look, the goal of this explainer, and Lewis's entire handbook, isn't just to make you sound super smart at dinner parties. It's actually designed to fundamentally upgrade how you process information. That's exactly why he subtitled it, Building a Superior Vocabulary. Every new word you truly learn is a brand new concept, a totally new lens through which to categorize and understand the incredibly complex world around you.
Lewis promises that as you absorb these master keys, you'll experience a real intellectual dopamine hit, altering the very climate of your thoughts. It's a profound idea right from the end of Session 10. When you understand the roots of language, you start seeing connections absolutely everywhere. You aren't just reciting a dictionary, you are making deep, cognitive links. It makes you a sharper, far more analytical thinker. Your brain literally changes how it processes communication.
So, as you head out into the world today armed with these new master keys, what new intellectual doors are you going to unlock first? Will you start spotting grapho on every page you read? Or maybe you'll boldly drop Callipygian into your next chat. The English language is no longer a locked vault for you. Thanks for actively participating and working through this explainer with me today. Now get out there and use your words.